Welcome back to Fabricating Awesome Stuff. In today's episode, we're going to be fabricating and installing the spark plug wires on the lower spark plugs of the AEROVEE engine that I installed on my SONEX aircraft. So let me know what you think in the comments. Also, remember to like and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any of these updates. I hope you enjoy today's episode, and thanks for watching. Today we're going to install the spark plug wires on the secondary ignition coils. The spark plug wires that came with the ignition coils are just generic, and they're a little too long. Plus, both ends are designed to fit a spark plug, and we need to put a bigger end on one in order to fit the ignition coil on one end. So I put the two wires for the right side of the engine together with an 8L clamp that I mounted on the engine mount in order to determine what length I need the wire to be. And I marked the length with this piece of tape on both of these. So the first step is we're going to go ahead and cut the wire to length with a razor blade. And then we're going to use a tool. This is a New Delhi ND-2048. It's designed for 8.5 millimeter spark plug terminals. One side of it is used to strip the wire, and the other one is used to crimp the terminal. So what we'll do is we're going to strip back some of the insulation. We're going to go back about 3/8 of an inch or so. And then we have the electrode coming out the center. Next we take the crimp end and we bend the terminal over so that it's on the side of the wire, and place it against the metal of the terminal that we're going to crimp. And once we get it in there, we just go ahead and crimp it until it clicks, until it releases. We've got a nice solid crimp. And the electrode is underneath and touching on the inside of this metal. And then we can just put the new boot right over the top of it, and that will fit the ignition coil. We'll do the same thing with the other one. We'll go ahead and cut it first. Then we strip it. Okay. Fold it over. You get it against the metal edge. Place it in the crimper. Crimp it down. Okay. And a new boot. So that side's ready to go. I mounted an 8L clamp on the engine mount with a bracket that I can use to mount this other 8L clamp to the engine mount and route these wires to the secondary ignition coils. Now we'll install a screw through this A-dowel clamp and into the second A-dowel clamp. Get a nut started on it. Tighten it down. And we've got these marked. This one goes to the right coil. So we'll go ahead and stick it on the right coil. There it goes. And then put the boot on it. And that boot will cover it. And then this other wire goes to the left coil. So we'll route it over there. Here's a close-up of what we've been doing. The spark plug wires are now installed on the lower spark plugs. The wire on the lower front spark plugs goes to the right secondary ignition coil, and the plugs on the lower rear go to the left ignition coil. I installed an A-dowel clamp on the engine mount and then made an L bracket to attach the plug wires to that bracket so that we can get those to run to the ignition coils. And so one of these wires on the right side of the engine is going to the right secondary ignition that you can see right there, and the other one's going to the left secondary ignition. Here are the ignition wires, spark plug cables coming from the left side of the engine, and they're also going down to an A-dowel clamp right here with an L bracket so that they can be mounted on the engine mount there. And then they're going up to the appropriate ignition coil on the firewall.